TechSmarrt is a data analysis software for materials research. But before I talk to you more about our software, let me introduce to you our team. Akinola is a Bredesen Center Fellow at UT, and he's working on his PhD research in 2D materials. Dr. Keffer is a professor in the Material Science Department in UT. Dr. Rios is a research staff in the Materials Science and Technology Division at Oak Ridge National Lab. And I am also a PhD student in the Bredesen Center, and I'm working, again, with energy materials. So we're all material people. So how did we get started? Well, in running his experiments, Dr. Keffer does materials experiments that he runs X-rays through these materials and gets some structural data about this material. And then he later takes this experimental data, uses it as input to run computational simulations, then to get a better picture of what these materials look like in the atomic level. However, these simulations could take up to 1,000 computing hours, which is equal to 42 days running non-stop. Or it would require an enormous supercomputer, which is equivalent to 150,000 laptops. And on top of that, to get to use one of these supercomputers, he has to wait around for weeks or even months. Now, feeling a little frustrated, Dr. Keffer started toying around with a different approach to run these simulations. It took him over 5 years, but he eventually came up with a solution, and he figured out that it's in the math. Now, this is one of the underlying equations that are used to run the material structure simulations. And what he figured was, instead of feeding these equations to the computer and letting the computer run wild and try to find all these different components, he realized that he can break it down to different components and hierarchies that are already present in the material structure. So what this does, it eliminates the need of billions of iterations and increases computational efficiency. And so he figured, well, he might just give it a shot and put it to the test. So about a few years ago, he had a brilliant student taking one of his classes at UT, and he asked him whether he would like to work on a side project with him, and that's how Akinola and Dr. Keffer invented TechSmarrt. Well, with our copyrighted software, all you need to do is take your experimental data, input into our software, and hit run. And in a matter of minutes, you will get structural information about your material. Now, okay, let me just ask you, how many people in this audience collect X-ray diffraction data on material and are very eager to use our software? Not a lot, right? So why does this really matter? Well, this is a type of research that is used to discover new materials that are used, that are then later engineered to make products that we use every day, like longer lasting batteries for our phones or cars, clean energy applications. And then there are also other sectors, like the Department of Defense, that use this type of materials. And as a matter of fact, the US Army is one of the customers that is interested in our software. They want to use our software to research a material that is used for transparent armor. Now, we are probing atomic materials is a $2.3 billion market, but we're really looking at X-ray diffraction, and more specifically the powder X-ray diffraction market, which is a $90 million market potential. And we will penetrate this market by selling our software as a service and later introduce a materials database that will be an add-on option. Our product being our software, overhead costs will remain low, and we estimate about 67% profit margins by year 5. Most of the software out there cannot handle complex materials with the computational efficiencies that we've achieved. So we're well ahead of the curve compared to our competitors. So we've already validated our software for lignin, which is a plant-based byproduct used in various renewable energy applications. And we're currently developing our alpha model, and we will send it out to the US Army in November, which will open up SBIR funds phase 1 of SBIR funds to the DoD that we will use to continue developing our basic model. And later in 2017, we will open up for beta testing to a few key researchers. And later that year, we should get phase 2 of the SBIR funds, then launch early 2018. Our current budget to develop our alpha model is $63,000. And if you pick us today, we will use the $5,000 to contract a software consultant and purchase equipment. Thank you so much for your time, and I will take your questions now.